Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. My name is Grars, and with me is Mr. Leunammi. Mr. Leunammi,
Hello,
there you go.
hello.
There you go. All right.
I'm back.
You guys ready for patch notes?
Patch no.
Patch notes.
Good one, I assume.
I
Compared to
mean,
season 4.
you both saw it already. I love the changes, dude. I love it so
Mhm.
much. None of this, you know, when we were going over the patch notes for season 4, we were like, "Is this good? Is this bad?" We had moments like that, right?
Yeah.
When I was going through the patch notes for season 5, I was like, "Oh, that's so good. Oh, this one's good too. Oh, that's so good." Now, there was no moment where I was like, "Is this okay?"
And I think for me, in season 4,
Mm-hmm.
there were some OP teams already in season 3 that were
Mm-hmm.
left
Yeah.
unaddressed,
Mm-hmm.
or it was given very minor buff,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously still make them very strong.
Yep.
So it's kind of like boring. Season 4 will be a repeat of season 3, but
Mm-hmm.
this season, everything that was OP is properly addressed, I would say.
I wouldn't say that. Hmm. A lot of really strong archetypes were toned down. That part I agree with.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're just looking at the patch notes. One comp clearly got a lot of buffs, and I am so happy about.
Is
Don't,
it
don't
your
don't look at the
favorite?
title, guys. Don't look at the title. The title is not a giveaway of what I'm talking about.
And this is not financial advice, guys. Everything is
Not
not fixed
financial
yet.
advice. That is true. That is true. All right, let's get rid of this start screen. It is now 5 p.m. Let's go over the patch notes. All right. Alrighty. So I hope you guys are ready. This is probably gonna take 2 hours again, based on based on the last time we did this. It's gonna be a
Mhm.
2-hour session. So I hope you guys are ready. Get some snacks. Get your water. We'll be here a while. All right. Okay, Mr. Leunammi, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go. All right, this is the first slide. How many slides in total do we have? 46, right? And yeah, there's no way for me to. I think there's. Oh, there you go. 42 slides. We're going over 42 slides. Oh, hold on. Let's go back. All right, first slide. New keyword detect. Remove a random secret from the target. The next one is new keyword purify. Exile a cursed card from your draw pile, hand, or discard pile in that order. Okay. And then next is new keyword fade. When your turn ends, if this card is in your hand, exile. Alright, so let's go over these three things first. So detect is not really a new thing. This is what mechs had before. And they just made a keyword for it to make it shorter on the card text. So it's not really that. So the card text isn't super long like it was before. So
Yeah.
detect, nothing new. But the next one, purify. Okay, so we've seen this before. Remove, exile a curse card, but now it has an order. So it looks at draw pile first, and then the hand, and then the discard pile.
I guess it's good so that it removes the randomness. People will like, oh, well, is it actually removing something or
Mm-hmm.
not? Now you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
actually check with this ordering.
yeah. Okay, so I like that it's more clear. There's no more RNG. Well, I guess there's still RNG because if it's in your draw pile, there's like 5 curses. You don't know which curse got removed, but still, knowing that you have one less curse card in your draw is a lot better than did it actually work? So yeah, purified, good, good, good. Fade. I was listening to Hale talking about this. This mostly applies to curse cards because curse cards are supposed to be detrimental. But if you are playing a Topaz team and you have a curse card and it gets exiled or it gets put into the banish pile, it actually helps a Topaz team. So they made this so that curse cards are actually proper curse. So they disrupt one card draw and then they disappear. So I like this change. Right.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
like it too.
Mhm.
It's a side note.
Mhm.
Fate takes priority after degrade, but before exile. So the priority is degrade first,
Mhm.
then fate, then exile. So that will affect if you put the degrade rings, but
Mhm.
no one put degrade rings on fate anyways. So on curse card. Yeah, just a
Mhm.
side note.
Mhm. Okay. Hold on. Let's go back. Okay, now the blood moon change. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this, but this is such a huge change. So before, HP will be reduced to the current HP will be reduced to maintain the ratio of current HP and max HP. So if you're at 50% health and blood moon happens, your HP will still remain at 50%. It's not gonna get topped off to max like it was before. So there's three things about this. Is it three? I think maybe two or three things. Number one, if you are doing poison damage and you have like a few poison damage like less than 10, it's not gonna be it didn't matter before, because if you did 30 damage and then blood moon happens and then they get blood moon 40, blood moon 50, the 30 damage you did with poison doesn't matter anymore. But with this change, it actually matters.
Yeah,
Okay.
this change is actually huge again for poison, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
or uh, spike teams. Blood
Mm-hmm.
spikes also actually the damage
Mm.
of blood spike is not really huge as poison,
Yeah.
so this will also benefit them
Yep. That was the
quite a lot.
second point I was going to make. And the last point is that heal actually matters now. If you're a sustain team and you don't have any heals at all, you will eventually die. Because your HP
Mhm.
will scale down. You're not gonna get topped off like you did before. So
Yeah,
heals actually matter now for sustain teams.
if you notice in season 3 and 4,
Mm-hmm.
bad J teams do not have heals at all.
Yep.
Or at most silence whisper, they're just pure
Well,
shielding over
yeah, true.
shielding
I
cards.
mean, they're not using it for healing. They're using it to counter poison. But the point
Mm.
still stands true. So I mean, this is a big change.
Yep,
Not,
it is.
I don't know. I guess people got too used to Topaz ending games before Blood Moon, so they don't really care. But I'm a poison player, so this matters to me a lot. I am so happy about this change. I had a point number 4, but it's not as important now because before it regenerator has that threshold, right? If you're over 75% HP, you cleanse twice.
Mm. Yeah,
But now you maintain like your HP ratio based on your max HP. So it's not gonna suddenly activate the two cleanse threshold anymore. But again, this is a moot point because like 40 slides later we'll get to regenerator. So but let's not get too ahead of ourselves, all right? So that's the first
yep,
slide. Are you ready to move on to the second slide?
yep, sure.
Second slide. These are all status effect updates. This is slide 1 of 3. Single attack. Bubble. Single attacks deal 1.5% of the target's current HP per bubble as bonus damage. AoE and multi-hit attacks deal 0.5% convert to bubble bomb. Oh, AoE and multi-hit attacks deal 0.5% instead of 1.5. So if you deal 3 hits, you do as much damage as a single bubble. All right, and then once you get to 5 stacks, it converted into a bubble bomb.
Okay, a clarification here.
Mm-hmm.
So the previous version says
Mm-hmm.
single attack deals 1.5% of max HP and of current HP per bubble stack as bonus damage. That
Mm-hmm.
remains the same.
Mm-hmm.
But the AOE part,
Mm-hmm.
AOE and multi-hit deals 1/3 of the bonus damage as compared to the single attacks.
Mm-hmm.
It may look doesn't matter 1.5 then 0.5, that's still 1/3 of the
Mm-hmm.
damage, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's actually a small buff because how it happens last time was after you calculate the 1.5% of the target current HP, that number gets rounded down and then multiplied by 1/3 and then another rounded down to make it whole number.
Oh, is that how it works?
But now it's straight away times 0.5% first before rounded down. So it doesn't really matter much, but at some games it may affect 1 damage.
Yeah, that 1 or 2 damage that you might possibly get from this. I mean, that 1 or 2 damage might decide a game or two, right? So that's a very important distinction. Okay. So yeah, Bubble has been buffed for AoE. That's basically what this is. Bubble has been buffed for AoE. Okay, next. Bubble Bomb can't be dispelled. AoE and multi-hit attacks deal +5 damage. Single attacks cause bubble bombs to explode to deal 24 damage per stack to all enemies. Alright, so I was asking about this. AoE and multi-hit attacks get +5 damage, but it doesn't stack per bubble bomb. So once you have one bubble bomb, you're already full power with this. It does stack, however, with just the bubble. So you get deal +5 and then the 0.5% per hit. So if you're playing a multi-hit AoE team, you want at least one bubble bomb and you don't pop it. You just leave it there to get +5 damage.
Okay, this makes bubble bomb kind of interesting because previously it was only for AoE attacks deal +5 damage and if single attack deal 24 damage. Now with multi-hit it opens a lot more archetype that can use bubble and notably not only single attacks will benefit because AoE and multi-hit will deal kind of infinite scaling if they don't pop the bubble bomb.
Yeah. So basically bubbles are now more viable. They're viable for AoE and multi-hit, not just for bubble teams. So it's a little something that you can add on. Like if you have a card that gives AoE or gives your team bubbles, you know, it's not a total waste. Because before, if you have one bubble and it's just there, it's you know, it's something nice to have but not really super important. But now it's more viable. So yeah, a lot more uses for this. So opens up a few doors, like you mentioned. Let's see what teams people come up with this. This is pretty interesting stuff. I like it. All right, now Feather. Each hit adds +1 damage up to +20. When your turn ends, if this Axie attack, lose 1 feather. Losing all feather resets bonus damage to 0. Max stack of 10. Did anything change here?
Yeah, it's actually a nerf to feathers. So the old feather, you gain 1 damage immediately after you get the feather. So and that's why the counter for feather is only up to 19. Because you already have +1 base. But now the base damage bonus is 0. So you got nothing when you get the feather until you do your first damage. Then it gets +1.
I see. Okay,
it's nerf.
Is it though? Okay, we'll have to find out. We'll find out through testing once the patch becomes available. I don't know if that's actually how it works. But if it does work like that, it's just your first multi-hit doesn't get a buff. I don't know if that matters too much in mid or late game. But let's see how it happens. Based on Google Docs, are you sure? All right. Okay, if you're basing it off of Google Doc, then a very minor nerf. I think it just delays you by 1 multi-hit or 1 AoE, or your first AoE doesn't have bonus damage. So very, very minor, but you know, it's still a change. So we'll see how that goes. I'm more interested with the next 2 bucks. All right, we're already 12 minutes in. I think we should speed up. We're still at slide number 2.
Okay.
All right, Leaf. When your turn ends, heal 4 HP per stack, so that's the same as before. However, overheal by Leaf converts to shield. So this incentivizes keeping your leaf axes healthy. Or in the case of front to back teams, um, the mid and the back, they will overheal for sure if they're not getting hit, right? So incidental damage, like say from an Axie Kiss or from a Kotaro Ice, for example, that those kind of attacks get blocked, right?
Yeah, I think it's more beneficial against AoE. So when you already heal to full, then you get that extra bit of shield, which blocks one AoE attack. That seems very, very good.
In most cases, like for example against poison, they probably won't get the overheal because poison does pure damage, so the shield doesn't do anything, and they're almost always getting damaged, right? But the way I see it, cards like Papi would get more value because you want those leaf teams to have at least some form of healing, right? To take advantage of the overheal, right?
Yeah, it makes it has more utility when HP is full, obviously, and yep. That's kind of good.
The thing I was saying is because the next one, Death Mark. Whenever the enemy plays an attack, take 15 pure damage per energy cost of the attack. So even if you have shield but you have Death Mark, pure damage now, so you won't shield the Death Mark damage anymore. So yeah.
It gives more aggro, more stuff to deal with shield comms.
Yep.
Previously, even if you have this Death Mark, they still have like 300, 400 shield. You cannot do anything about it. But now with the changes to Blood Moon also,
that mark can be a win condition against sustained teams. Right? Death mark them and use 2 damage. That's 30. Usually by Blood Moon 80 or 90, there's not much HP left for both axes, right? So if you can deal 30 pure damage with Death Mark, that may or may not win you the game. Remember, Blood Moon doesn't heal you to full anymore.
Yeah.
HP scales. So, this can be a win condition against sustained teams now. All right.
Yep, agreed.
Ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, slide number 3. Grievous Wound. After losing HP from bleed, lose 10 HP per Grievous Wound, then apply 1 Grievous Wound. So nothing changed here. Right? Except, did Grievous Wound have a max stack before?
Yeah, it's still the same, 10.
Okay.
So what changes here is actually it was pure damage. And now is lose 10 HP.
Oh.
And how is it different is, so HP loss is not damage. So it's, the numbers is always there.
Okay,
but damage is reduced by any damage reduction on runes and jumps.
Okay, that's a very important distinction.
So actually, this is better because they make it HP loss.
Yeah, and speaking of HP loss, the next one, Doubt. Receive minus 25% heal and shield. HP loss increased by plus 25%. So any damage done by Grievous Wound gets amplified by Doubt. So at the first stack of Grievous Wound, you get an extra 2 damage. At the second stack, you gain what?
20.
20? No, you lose 20. 25% of 20 is like 4, right?
Oh, yeah.
So Doubt just amplifies all HP loss. So poison, bleed, Grievous Wound. Let's see what else is there. HP steal. I think that's considered HP loss too.
Yeah, so HP loss are HP steal, poison, bleed, Grievous Wound, post fight, reptile energy dredging, that's what we have so far.
Okay, so
yeah,
there's quite a lot. I really like the change to Doubt because Doubt now reduces everything, every source of healing. It's not just from cards anymore like it was in season 4, because that caused me a lot of grief. Because Doubt not working on archetypes that I'm supposed to be good against, specifically Regenerator Jinx. It was a very difficult to fight against. So now that Doubt works on heal and shield, there's a reason for aggro teams to also have Doubt in their deck, a source of doubt. And thankfully, there's a lot more cards that does apply Doubt. So we'll get to that in a bit. I'm just so happy about the change to Doubt. Okay, so the next two, Fragile and Vulnerable, they're almost the same, but not quite. So, Fragile and Vulnerable. So, take 10% damage, additional 10 damage when shielded, and then Vulnerable is take plus 10% damage, additional 10% while not shielded. So, if you apply both of these, you do plus 30% damage to the target. And if you have both, if they're shielded, you get the Fragile to take effect. If they're not shielded, if for example you break their shield, the Vulnerable takes effect. So it's beneficial for aggro teams to have sources of both.
Yeah, I want to comment more about Fragile. It used to be receiving minus 40% shield from cards. So Fragile was one of the better counters for shielding team previously, but the new Fragile completely, for me, it doesn't deal with shield because the problem with shield team is they normally run reflex, right? So it's better for them to have lower amount of shield than you deal more damage to them because it will get reflected anyways.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, and if we go later to weak, which is deal minus 30% damage and grant minus 30% of shield, this makes weak better in terms of you can deal with aggro teams and you can deal with shield teams. Yeah. It's very versatile status effect.
Yeah, that's true.
But the problem is, okay, if weak grant minus 30% shield, it only affects to that XC, right? So that XC gives 30% shield to whoever. It can give to himself, it can give to his friend. But the other two XCs are still, for example, if they're not weak, then it will not affect like shielding team unless it's a 1v1 scenario.
That's true.
But for Doubt, it's more on the receiver side. So only that XC receive 25% less shield. But the friends, if it gives to any other person who is not doubted, then they still get the full amount of shield.
Yeah.
Which is affecting later what's the steel macron, the one adaptive program. So this week and Doubt arguably can be played around when you are playing shielding team. That's why it may not be the best feud against shielding comp, but it definitely gives it more flexibility, I would say.
Yeah.
Just that it can be played around and it requires more decision making for the player skill to know when to doubt, when to weak, and so on.
You make very interesting points there. I didn't consider that because to me, if you're using Fragile and against an aggro team, like for example, a Glorious main team, Fragile is basically useless because they don't shield at all, right? Or if they do shield, it's probably from an ant and it's a one-time thing. So now that it does this, it's always valuable. It's always useful.
Yeah.
So that's one change that I like. But it did have minus 40% shield before, so that's a big change. So the shield being spread out between Doubt and weak is definitely gonna require some adjustment. So teams that relied on these stuff definitely has to adjust. They're not gonna be able to use the exact same team anymore. So I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing, unless you have a really tight budget, in which case it's a bad thing for you.
but still, though, it makes all the status effects not conditional. Very good.
Yeah, everything
can be used on any case.
They can be useful even against an archetype that they normally don't do well against. So overall, I think everything here on this page is really good. Good changes. I like them all. All right, let's go to the next slide. Cuckoo. Either when sleep is applied to the unit, prevented, or the next single attack deals 75. So it's one or the other. You can't have both effects. because when you use Cuckoo, the buff stack is removed. Does it still work like before? Like if you stack two or three Cuckoos, the damage from it stacks. But if you get slept,
Yes.
you'll only lose one stack, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's pretty
Still
good.
the same before, just that previously it was 60 damage. 65.
Oh, was it? It's now 75?
Yeah.
It's kind of strong. Because you use one energy and then, it technically does 75 damage, but attached to a different card, right?
Yeah.
So it's still an attack card per se. You just need to combo it with something else. Yeah. However, this is something new. This is something that we Okay, so in the Guildless Gamers Discord, we've been memeing that Turnip is actually the best card. It's actually an OP card. And we were memeing it so much that I guess Sky Mavis picked up or something. I don't know. But okay, Turnip Rocket. When the turn ends, deal damage to a random enemy equal to half of Turnip's total stats. Prioritize summons. An important distinction here. When the turn ends, so Turnip Rocket lasts for 4 turns. That means this triggers 4 times. So the base damage is 25. You actually get 100 damage from Turnip Rocket.
That's actually huge.
It is huge. So if they summon a Mavis or a Robin on their turn, as soon as their turn ends, Turnip Rocket is gonna hit it.
And if no summons, it will still target enemy axis.
Yeah.
So it has value.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah. Turnip Rocket is actually good now.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm so happy. Turnip actually getting value now. I'm sad I don't have any Turnip axes, but it's something to talk about later when we get there. All right, let's move on. Next slide. Next slide is for tool card updates. Not much to talk about here, except the keywords that we discussed in slide 1. They are now applied, and the card names for these have been changed. So this used to be detect, now it's scan, because detect is now a keyword. This used to be purify, now it's prayer, and then purify is now a keyword down here. And these are pretty much the same, right?
Yeah, all the same.
So this is 10 shield, this is 10 heal. These were buffed in season 4, right? The values here were buffed in season 4. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on. Next slide. All right. Tool cards update number 2. Forest Breath is now a 0 cost. It's now free cleanse for all allies. Free cleanse, all allies. It's a retain. Oh my god. What?
And the argument here in Google Sheet is, the HP heal was reduced from 20 to 5.
I don't care about the heal.
Normally people use it for the cleanse.
No one use it for the heal. People use it for the cleanse.
And it's free now.
It's free. But wait.
And apply sleep.
There's more. The sleep part is nice to a random enemy act, but it's random, so you can't really... It's not too reliable. But this is more important. Forest Wrath is now pure damage.
Yep, and plus 20 damage. It used to be only plus 10 damage.
Was it base 70 before?
Both base 70, but it used to be plus 10 only, now plus 20.
Forest Rat is actually a finisher card now.
Yep.
If you have 2 Forest Rats, it's basically a show star.
Yep.
Holy moly.
Without negative finisher.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about shields using Forest Rat. This is insane. This might actually be OP. I think. I could be wrong, but I think this is OP.
And it's just a matter of how hard it is to stack Forest Wrath with the new Forest Breath. I believe it's when you cleanse, right?
Yeah.
So with the new Forest Breath 0 cost, I think you can get this easily.
I mean, people have been using Rise and Ruin poison teams before because you can use a tiny turtle to stun an enemy, stun and sleep yourself, right? Sleep on you, sleep on the enemy, and then you use a Gecko Eyes from another Axie to wake it up, to get a cleanse off and get a Forest Wrath.
Yeah.
So poison teams have been doing it before. Or, you know, if you have the risky cards like Risky Fish, you get a fear on yourself, and then you can just cleanse it off with Gecko Eyes on another Axie. So there are ways to get value from this without having to rely on your opponent putting debuffs on you.
Yeah. So it's a self-setup thing. It makes it not conditional. So
yeah,
everything's good.
It's super reliable. Okay, the next one, I am super happy about this, dude. I've been asking for this for so long. Venom Burst is now 2 cost. 2 cost. And to keep it within the, you know, the cost range, the pure damage is only 5 per poison now, down from 8. So it's weaker. It only does at max poison stacks, it only does 200 damage. But still, it's now down to 2 cost. That means you can... So for example, you use Venom Burst on a 205 HP Axie, right? So he lives with 2 HP. But you can use a small frill to put poison on that Axie again. And you couldn't do that before. Once you use Venom Burst with 3 energy and your target lives, there's nothing else you can do. Because so, you know, this Venom Burst, actually, this changing to 2 cost makes it so good. I really like this change. Thank you, Hale. Thank you, Axie Balance Team. This is a very much needed change for Venom Burst. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. Alright, you good? Anything else before we move on?
No.
Okay. Next slide. We are moving to curse card updates. So all these 3 are now... Well, these 2 are Fade. And then Blackmail is an exile card. It doesn't go into the banish pile. Same with Goo. If you use this, it's removed from the game. It's just gone. It's not gonna benefit Topaz teams anymore. So, all good things? Wait, wasn't Burn 8 HP before?
Yeah, it was Burn 8 HP before.
So it's 12 now?
Now 12. It used to be pure damage, and now it's considered HP loss.
Okay. So
that's also another different.
Okay, so this is just straight buff. 50% now more value for Burn.
Yeah.
Okay, super good change for Burn. You know, those hotbot teams getting... I know a few people running hotbot first teams, hotbot sustain teams, I mean. They're gonna be pretty happy with this. Okay. So next slide. So this is now Fade. This is also Fade. So no changes here, right?
Yeah, no changes.
Okay, so just keyword changes on Fade. Okay, let's move on. Now we are going into Aqua card updates. All right, so first, Risky Fish. It's now plus 30 damage. What was it before? Plus 20?
Plus 20.
Okay, and the Fear, is it still 3? Was it 4 turns before?
No, 3.
Okay, still 3. So you use Risky Fish, you have to deal with the Fear for 2 turns. Because, yeah, the 3 Fear...
Oh, no, it was 2, sorry.
It was 2 before? No,
yeah,
wasn't it 4?
Only 1 turn.
Okay.
But only plus 20.
Okay. So I think all the risky cards is getting this, the plus 30 treatment. Okay, Piranha has been nerfed, so it's down to 55 damage. And the HP steal is now down to 25. It used to be 40. And a lot of teams used to take advantage of... Heck, even Topaz teams, Topaz mechs used to take advantage of this. So now that it's been toned down, yeah, Piranha teams are going to be as strong. But, I mean, Piranha's been strong for like 3-4 seasons, right? So, this is a deserved nerf, I think. It's fine. Right, Garo...
it's usable.
Yeah, it's so usable. I'm not saying it's dead, but definitely not as strong as it was before. So, Cuckoo Piranha still works. Just not as... You don't get as big of a heal anymore. Right? Okay. Moving on, Garo now applies Tree Fragile, but now it can go front or back, right?
Yeah.
And then Sleepless is still the same, but it now goes to Tree Vulnerable. Yo, thank you for the follow, Blowdubes. Thank you. Right, so this is now 3 turns. It used to be 2, but now it's 3. So you can't have both of them because they're both eye parts, so but you can have them on different axes, I guess. Mineski, they stack up. If you have both, you can have up to 30% because the triggers on them, you can't have both vulnerable and fragile active at the same time. Because there's the second condition is a little different. It's considered a HP loss. It's classified as HP loss on the target. So yeah, it's steel. Same as Piranha. So this is affected by doubt, right? This is HP loss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's oh boy. Doubt. Cuckoo Piranha on a doubted target. Yikes. Okay, alright. Anything else before we move on?
No.
Alright. Next slide.
And most of the status effects just becomes 3 turns. Used to be only 2 turns.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Make it uniform, make it consistent. All good things. Next slide. Nemo. Target any ally, gain 1 energy fragment per Nemo card in your deck. Cap of 3. This used to be 50, right? Now it's 65. Can you confirm? Nemo ears, now 65. Pretty sure this was 50 shield before.
Yeah, it was 60.
That is a very interesting question. Mr. Dooms, does Piranha increase carrot damage? That is a very interesting question. Hold on. Is Hale here?
I don't know.
Because it's a heal, right? But
it's technically a heal.
But it's not from an... I mean... that's
more than 5 HP.
That's definitely an interesting question. I'll note it down, Mr. Dubes, and I'll ask Hale. Let's see what he said. Okay, let's move on. Bubble Maker. This has been updated. This has been buffed. Okay, so before it didn't have this. Target any ally +2 bubble. This +2 bubble didn't exist before. But everything else about it is the same. So Tiny Fan has been buffed. It's now 500 damage. Yeah. Ally includes self, yes. Ally includes self, I think. But it's better if we clarify with him, just to make sure. Alright, so Tiny Fan is now 500 damage. It's much more viable as a one-hit kill. You need, what, 3 shields now? Just to make sure you block a Tiny Fan, and most teams don't even run 2. So Tiny Fan definitely a finisher now. Well, much more than what it was before. No, people have been talking about Tiny Fan with the exploding bombshell.
Oh, right.
So 20%, 25% is like 125 damage to everyone else on a Tiny Fan. So yeah, that's definitely a possible combination. Alright, Babylonia has been changed. It's now target closest or furthest, and the supply tree vulnerable. This used to be 2, right?
Yeah, only 2 turns.
Yeah, look at that, bro.
The damage is the same.
The damage is the same, but now it can target front or back, and it does tree vulnerable. So, yeah, I'd say this is a big change, big buff to Babylonia. Alright, moving on. Next slide. Anemones, both of them got +5 damage, and then the damage loss is now down to 20 from 25. So Anemone aggro teams can still be a thing. I think it's still a thing.
Yeah, it's just that their lower damage helps it to tone down aggro a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is still good in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's even better now than what it was before, right? Super good. Alright, next is Goldfish. This has been nerfed. Thankfully. This has been way too good for way too long. Alright, so now it is gain 1 energy fragment per skill card in hand, cap at 2. So you need a show star and a Nemo tail to get the same effect as it did before. So you can still get the same effect, but it's harder to get it now. Or so, as it needed to be, because Goldfish was just way too good, ramped up way too fast. Alright, so Sponge is, like Hale said, it got the Venom Burst treatment. It's now down to 2. Shield has been lowered as an effect of, lower costs. But now there's the bubble change has also been nerfed. It used to change all bubbles into bubble bombs, so that means 4. But now it can only convert up to 3. But now, since it's a 2 cost, right, it's much more manageable. And you don't have to, set up a perfect 4 bubbles into a sponge kind of thing, like most bubble teams did before. So they're, I think, a lot more flexible now, right?
Yeah, and value per energy wise, it's also more. If you 35 for 2 energy compared to 50 shield for 3 energy.
Yeah.
And the flexibility of being able to proc this every turn as compared to before, you just play 1 sponge and you AFK, wait for your next turn. This definitely opens up more play. Especially if you want to use Punch. Last time, you need to have Square Teeth to be able to proc it reliably. So after you bubble, then you Square Teeth. But now, you can have any other attacker.
Yep. Alright. I mean, I personally don't play bubble team, so I can't really give as much insight into that. But yeah, I agree with what you said. Okay, so let's move on. Next slide. Okay. Next slide, we have Koi, and it's back to 140 damage. It was nerfed to 120, now it's back to 140 again. Ranchu, now this is an interesting one. This used to be 2 turns of vulnerable, now it's 3. So this is much more viable as a debuff card now. Also, thank you for the follows, right? Avatar 1 and Shenwon. Thank you guys so much for the follow. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Ranchu doing more now, so big buff to Ranchu. And now Puff. Okay. Consume all energy, randomly deal hits equal to energy consumed. Plus 100% bonus damage from bubble and bubble bombs. So Puffy gets a full 1% from bubble. And he gets 10 damage from bubble bomb, right? Because this is a multi-hit. Right? So if Puffy has a bubble and a bubble bomb, she deals 1% max HP damage plus 10 in addition to whatever Puff has, right?
Yep. And that's excluding the new rune.
Yeah.
New rune, the bubble. Yeah.
We'll get there. So,
but it's a lot of damage.
Yeah, Puffy aggro might actually come back, guys. Puffy aggro. Puffy aggro aqua might actually be a thing again. Oh no. Oh no.
So do your...
Alright. Okay. Let's move on. Next slide. Oh, hold on. Technical difficulties. Mr. Leunammi? Hello? Oh boy.
Yes.
There you go. Okay, stabilize. Yeah, I think that was my internet acting up. That happens from time to time. Don't worry about it. All right, let's move on. We're now moving on to beast cards. First change is Puppy now has 5 heal. It's target any ally, +1 range, and purify 1. Okay, so and then Confident has 5 heal, target any ally, +1 rage, and cleanse 1. So these two are working together now. So this removes curses, this removes debuffs. They're both 0 cost with 5 heal, meaning you can put Bean's Blessing or White Sage on these things now. So if you have a support beast or a support unit with these cards, you can put White Sage, can put Bean's Blessing, and just get even more value for 0 costs. So I really like this for anti-poison.
Another big change
Mhm.
for puppy ears is now target any ally. It
Yeah,
used
yeah,
to be
yeah.
target self.
Yeah, that's also a very important thing. Now, puppy ears can be used to support a believer, a beast with, I don't know, with some attack room, right? Because
Yeah. Last time
before.
they
Mhm,
used the energy drinks.
mhm,
The
mhm.
one that give +2 rage with the grid. Since
Yeah,
it's zero cost, they just use it anyways.
and also puppy eyes needed the buff, needed love. It's so cute. Look at that eyes. It's so cute, but no one uses it because it's a terrible card, right? We
It
might,
was a terrible card.
well, we might see more puppy eyes on the market now. People might actually breed puppy eyes. I hope so because I love puppy eyes. But I couldn't
Yep.
get any. That's good because the card's terrible. But anyway, let's move on. Little piece, 3 vulnerable. It used to be 4, right? But
Yes, but it doesn't
yeah, it didn't really matter.
matter much.
The biggest thing about little piece is now if you stack 2 little piece, it's not 8 turns anymore. It goes
All
down
right.
to
Yeah,
6
that's one.
turns. That's the biggest difference. But if you only have 1 little piece in your team, it's pretty much the same card. It didn't get nerfed at all. At least for that part, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. Lawrence has a question. What do you think is better, sleep poison or pure poison? That depends on the meta, Lawrence. We'll discuss that after we go through all the patch changes. All right. Hold that thought. Write it down and remind me later. All right, Lawrence. Okay. Next, Axie Kiss. Target lowest HP enemy. Apply 3 death mark. Did it used to be 4?
Yes, it used to be 4.
Okay, yeah. So pretty much the same thing as little piece. It only matters on your turn anyway, and you get the full effect on your turn.
Yeah, it's about the stacking thing
Mhm.
as like little piece.
Yep, yep, yep. Okay, ready to move on? Next slide.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next slide. Nyan or Nyan, or I don't know how people pronounce it. There's like 3 different ways to pronounce this. Anyway, on targets with bleed, plus 20 damage. Otherwise, apply for bleed. Wow. Oh, wait.
It used to be like that, bro.
Oh, yeah.
The difference is only +5 attack. It
Okay.
used to be 60.
Okay. So no change on the effect, just 5 damage, which is nice, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Innocent Lamb. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. Innocent Lamb has been nerfed, ladies and gentlemen. It only took what, 4 seasons for it to get nerfed. I mean, okay. I guess it's more like 2 seasons because Innocent Lamb has been changed quite a few times, but the season 3 and season 4 incarnation of Innocent Lamb it's been around for way too long. So it has been changed. Next turn, add a copy of this Axie's other skill or secret cards to hand and then banish. Okay.
Yeah. How is this huge is mainly for tauns because even aggro team run an Innocent Lamb just to save their main unit, for example, from backdoors. But now since it's the next turn that may affect things a bit.
Yeah.
On contrary, when talking about Innocent Lamb Cottontail, I don't think it's a major change because Cottontail, you may not have the energy fragment to do that anyway, so putting it next turn to your hand doesn't really affect much. But I think for the Tawns, it's really a huge impact.
Okay. Yeah, and also an important distinction here. It does not eat up a card draw. The card that you copy is floating. It can't be neoed, it can't be parasited. It's just floating. When your next turn comes in, you draw the number of cards. So for example, if you're burst 0 or 1, you draw 5 cards, and then the card you copied is added on top of that. So this does not eat a card draw, so which is good. At least that part's still great. And again, it can't be discarded by Neo or Parasite, so that's still that's another good thing about it. So it has been nerfed. The card comes in your next turn, and I think it's fair because it has been this has been too good for too long. So yeah, it's a fair nerf, I think. All right, Zen. What's changed with Zen?
Plus 5 damage.
Oh, plus 5 damage. Okay. Eh. All right, puppy ears. What changed here? Is it the damage?
It's
The
completely changed.
effect.
It used to be heal all allies. Now it's a damaging card with only a percentage of the damage becomes heal.
Yeah. So puppy is going to be an interesting addition for glorious main teams, right? Because if this scales up, the heal also scales up.
Correct.
Yeah, so puppy ears and puppy eyes both getting love, which I love. Because look at that guy. Look at him, so cute. But no one uses him because he's, both cards were terrible. Now they're actually interesting. Puppy eyes with glorious main, dude. And I mean, you lose one nut, but you gain a heal for the entire team. So maybe. All right, let's move on. Next set. All right, Pocky. Oh, I love this change so much, dude. Target lowest HP enemy Axie. Deal 2 hits, apply 2 taunt. Okay, so my problem with Pocky before is that it deals 2 random hits. And the lower HP gets the taunt. Now you always hit the lowest HP. So there's no more RNG. You always know which Axie you're going to hit. And I absolutely love that. Pocky became so much better. It's a contender for a horn slot now for I don't know, AoE teams. If you don't want to use shrimp, you can use Pocky instead. Or if you're playing with leafy teams, if you can sacrifice the bamboo horn or the bamboo shoot for a Pocky. So that's pretty good. I really like Pocky now.
Yeah, it's good. Last time it was just 2 RNG and it hits the full HP person, then it's completely like quote unquote useless and it ruins the whole team. But now, it's basically 60 damage and free taunt to whoever you want.
Yeah, that's very true. And again, just Pocky's such a good change. I love this. Dual Blade. Was the damage nerfed?
Yeah, it was 60.
Okay, 60 down to 55. Target any enemy. Apply 4 doubt and 1 grievous wound. So the doubt is the new addition. It's just so good. Archer, your question is, with Glare, does Dual Blade give 6 doubt? I think it should. Because 4 doubt from the base and then Glare adds 2 more doubt. So yes, 6 doubt should appear for Dual Blade, which is amazing, dude. It's just so good. Dual Blade losing 5 damage, I think that's fair because of the 4 doubt. Because 4 doubt is going to give you more value than the 5 damage it lost if you're a poison team or a bleed team. So I think it's fair. I mean, I would have been okay with it if it was minus 10. I think it still would have been fair. But
it syncs really well with the HP loss from Grievous Wound also.
Yeah. It's so much value, dude. I'm surprised it didn't go down to 50. But anyway, it's not as big of an error, but I'll live with it. I'm okay with that. Right, Jaguar got 5 damage, right?
Yep, plus 5 damage only.
Risky Beast, same treatment as all the other risky cards. It's now plus 30 damage, and the Hex is applied 3 Hex to sub. It's the same thing but plus 30 damage.
Yeah. The most not risky card ever.
Yeah, it's pretty much free, right? If you have all attack cards, the Hex literally does nothing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I guess it's fair because it's competing against Ronin. I'd rather have Ronin than this.
True.
So I don't know. It's buff, but it's still not compelling enough for me to switch it out for Ronin, I think. But But yeah, we'll see how it keeps going. Artsur says, so a dual blade can give 6 dot and 1 wound and 2 bleed with correct RNC setup? Yes, if you put the what do you call that? The hidden razor. Yes, that can happen. Right, Cottontail has been changed. It now requires 8 fragments instead of 7, and the HP has been changed to pretty much end up at the same amount. So the biggest change for Cottontail.
No, the HP is lower. Used to be 5 HP for each fragment. Now 4.
Okay.
And it used to be base 5 heal, now become base 8 heal. Yeah, overall heal is the same.
Okay, well, thank you for confirming.
Okay.
Alright, so the biggest change here is that if you're turn 2, you can, without any fragment gain, you can naturally use your Cottontail at round 3. With this change, Cottontail can, without any fragment changes, both players can use their Cottontail on round 4. So there's a lot less swing advantage or swing potential for turn 2 players now.
Yeah.
So it's more fair for both players.
So, it slows everything by a lot.
Yeah, it slows down everything by a lot, and it keeps player 1 and player 2 difference. It minimizes the gap between turn 1 and turn 2.
Yeah.
So I'm good with this change too. All right, so Gerbil. And yeah, before we go to Gerbil.
No.
Okay. All right, Gerbil. Target enemy on targets without secrets plus 20 damage. Otherwise, detect 1. Wait, was the change here the damage? Bonus damage?
Bonus damage used to be plus 15, now plus 20.
So it's basically a 75 damage card. And that might actually be good, right? Target any enemy, 75 damage.
So Beast Tails, it used to compete with Nutcracker, which naturally you don't want to change, or Hair. So yeah, I guess now Hair deals more damage than Gerbil, but Gerbil has the flexibility of removing secrets, so maybe it's viable now. Can be a good substitute.
Yeah. Gerbil just keeps improving every season because no one uses it, right? But maybe this is the change that might make it viable. 75 damage is a lot. And especially on a target any enemy. You can put, if you have a backdoor team, a backdoor beast team, now with dual blade, you can put hidden razor on Gerbil. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's pretty interesting now. Alright, but anyway, let's move on to the next set of cards. Our next set of cards are for birds. Alright, so there's only 2 slides. Do you think the changes are enough? Or should we say this for after? Let's just go over the changes. Yeah, let's go over changes. Peacemaker. What the bonus damage is now plus 20? Is that right?
No, it used to be plus 20 also. But I think no changes, just the basic.
Just 5 damage? 65. Okay, plus 5 damage. Hungry Bird is now Steel 10 HP. It used to be Steel 15. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this has been toned down by 5 damage. Peacemaker, so it gets the piece. Both Peacemakers get plus 5. And then Curly, what happened here? On targets with Fragile, plus 20 damage. Otherwise, apply 3 Fragile.
It got nerfed. It used to apply 4 Fragile, but now it only applies 3. But it gets plus 5 attack.
Okay. Plus 5 base attack. Okay, so it's 75 damage on fragile targets. If it's fragile, you also get plus 10%, right? Because of the fragile effect.
Right, that one.
So this might be more.
Yeah, it depends on how the ordering works. Whether it applies fragile first or apply fragile after the damage.
Alright, that's something to take note of too. Right? Okay. Moving on, next slide. Oh, I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Alricky in the chat. Hello, Mr. Sir. Welcome. Alright, Risky Bird, and like all the risky cards, plus 30 damage. And Cupid is now an AoE card. Attack all enemies, apply 3 weak.
With 25 base damage, that's huge.
So that's 75 damage with 3 targets. If there's summons, it gets even more value. Again, weak is now minus 20% damage and minus 20% shield.
Armor, yes.
So Cupid is pretty good now. Right?
Yeah. So for birds, it is competing with mostly Tri-Feathers.
Yeah.
And Tri-Feather gives you notably the most feather other than Feather Spear. It can hit up to 3, it can give everyone up to 3. So is it worth risking the feather generation with Cupid? Maybe
think so.
I can see some people will run Cupid with the energy drink instead to compensate for the lack of feathers.
Yeah. Energy drink or feather fan, the feather fan charm.
But yeah, Cupid is very huge value card.
Yeah. I know it's kind of like Earwing or what's the other one? Buzz, but instead of increasing damage, you decrease the damage you receive. Right?
Yep.
Isn't this pretty? Yeah, this is pretty interesting. New tech for Cupid, I think. Yeah, definitely something that AoE teams can consider for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, but we're taking too long on this card. Let's move on to the next one. Grandma's Fan. What changed with Grandma's Fan?
Damage buff.
5 damage.
So it used to be 20, now 25.
Okay, so plus 15 damage, basically. That's still pretty good. Okay. Post fight. What changed here? Oh, it's HP loss now. It's not.
Yeah.
Not HP damage. So it's HP loss.
15 also, now only 10.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that 5 HP. I mean, that that could probably make or break a game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. It's so sad that these are the only bird changes. Pretty sad about birds, I think.
Kinda.
But
I'm happy with the changes.
But yeah, the changes are good. It's just that I was hoping for more. But anyway. Alright, let's move on. Next set of cards are for bugs. Alright, Neo now has 5 shield. So you can put, charms, or you can even put shield charm on this if you wanted to. Not that it matters, but it's basically a free shield. Yep. And it's been nerfed. It's now down to 3 cards instead of 4. So, yeah. Hello, Mr. Dannington. Yes, I'm talking about birds with Mr. Leunammi, the bird master. That is very true. So, Neo can have a White Sage or a Bean's Blessing now. So, is it worth the 1 card that it lost? I mean, it's been nerfed because it was too strong, not because it was. I mean, getting 5 shield to compensate for the 1 card loss, I think it's fine. Neo was way too good before. Alright, so Kotaro, it now applies 3 Death Mark. No change onto damage, right? Alright, so I think there's
no.
Yeah.
I think the debuff is become longer.
Was it only 2 turns before?
Oh, no. It used to be 4 turns, but now become 3. And it used to be 50 damage, now 60.
Oh, okay. So damage buff for Kotaro is nice. Yeah, so it lost 1 Death Mark, but 1 extra turn honestly didn't matter. It mattered for cleansing on the other player, but for the player using it, it's basically the same thing. Right. This next card, Square Teeth nerf. Such a deserved nerf, dude. Holy moly. 0 cost card doing 120 damage is just insane. It was way too good. There's no world where a 0 cost card should be doing 120 damage. So I'm so happy this happened. So it can only go up to 65 now.
But it's still good, no?
It's still pretty good.
65 damage.
It is. It's still pretty good, but it's not, it's not gonna swing turns like it did before. Because you need 2 Square Teeth now to do the same thing as that 1 Square Teeth before. So
I remember last time using Pure Instinct XC. So the shield you give gets bonus 20% from Pure Instinct, and then your square tip got another bonus 20%.
Oh, good lord. Oh, that's
It's
disgusting.
huge.
That's disgusting. Oh, that's disgusting. I'm so glad this is nerfed. Thank you, Sky Mavis, for nerfing Square Teeth. Holy moly. There was it had no right to be that good for way too long. Alright, okay.
4 seasons, bro.
Yeah, dude, it had no reason to be that good. Anyway, let's move on. Ear Breathing, now a 1-cost card. Alright. Gain shield equal to attack. Add 1 goo to the enemy discard pile. So this is no longer a 4-hit attack. But it costs 1. So it's much more viable now for goo teams. You're not forced to choose between shielding twice or using ear breathing and shielding once, or using ear breathing and then just leaving yourself open to attack, right? Now you can do both, right?
Yeah. Just that I feel the problem goo is the only clan with no multiple, like, don't have the card that put in multiple goos from one card.
Oh,
a
that's
double talk, at least.
Yeah, a double talk for goo, right? That's true.
But it means goo is much lower than the rest of the curses. Even hotbutt struggles too, right?
Yeah, I want to tier craft a goo team, but that's beyond the scope of this video. So let's do that on a separate call or a separate video, all right? But yeah, ear breathing is definitely interesting. Goo teams might actually become a thing now. All right? Okay, so let's go on. Let's go on. Next slide. Leaf bug. 70 shield now. It used to be 55, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Everything else is the same, right?
Yep, everything is the same, just special 55 to 70.
Okay, antenna change. What changed here? Shield value up. Used to be 60, right?
Let me check real quick.
Hey, Mr.
It
Coffee.
used to be 55.
Okay, plus 10.
65.
Nice, okay.
And cards revealed used to be 4, now 3.
Okay, so it lost 1 scry, but gained 10 shield. I think that's fair. Alright, Parasite. What changed here? Lost 5 damage, right? Used to be 60. Now down to 55. The discard is still the same. I think it was top 3 even back then. And then leaf bug horns, same as leaf bug ears, up to 70 shield. Okay, nothing specific here, right? Let's move on. The biggest thing, I guess, is that leaf bug is now a usable card for adaptive program. That's basically it, right? So on top of the cocoons, it's now usable for adaptive.
Huge.
Yeah, that is pretty huge, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, huge for sustain teams. Pretty bad for anyone else that doesn't like sustain teams. Because this is retain. You always have a shield on hand, ready to be casted. So, yeah. Alright, okay, let's move on. Next slide. Alright, Garish Worm has been nerfed, less 5 damage. It's still retained, still a discard, 1 card from hand. So, just 5 less damage. Sandaled? Didn't this used to be 120?
It used to be 110, now 130.
Oh wow, 20 whole damage. Dude.
With the effect plus 50% damage if enemies debuff. Imagine with vulnerable or fragile.
Oh yeah, dude. Holy. Oh man, that's so good now. Alright. Okay. Sandal might actually be a viable card for aggro teams. It costs 2, but if you have fragile or vulnerable, dang. That's a lot.
1 hit KO maybe. I don't know. I haven't do the math.
Maybe with a main team, glorious main team, maybe.
Glorious main Sandal.
Nah, that's kind of that's copium. No. All right. Scarab now applies 4 doubt and 1 grievous wound. So this is basically dual blade, but on the back slot. So there is no more heal block. Heal block has been removed from the game, guys. No more heal block. But, you know, without being this good anyway, I'm super fine with it. So there are now three cards that apply Grievous Wound. We saw the first two, so Dual Blade, Scarab. We'll see the last one in a bit. But yeah, there are now 3 cards that apply Grievous Wound. So good for bleed teams. Super good for bleed teams. Alright.
Yes.
Move on. What changed for Twin Tail?
-5 shield.
That's it?
Yes, from 70 to 65.
You know, to me, it felt like Twin Tail didn't have a limit anyway, because when I hit into an enemy with Twin Tail, it feels like I lost my entire hand. So,
it's just because you lost the important card.
I mean, yeah, but it really feels bad that when I hit into a Twin Tail, you know, an innocent lamb Twin Tail team, that it feels like I lost my entire hand. So I guess that's just me being silly, but still, losing 5 shield, not the worst thing ever. I mean, it makes Cocoon, teams that rely on Cocoon, like sustain teams, shield backup Cocoon teams, they don't get as much value anymore, right? But I think it's a fair nerf to Twin Tail. Now this next card, Thorny Caterpillar. This change is definitely interesting. I don't know if this is the catalyst that was needed to make Goo teams, but dude, 60 damage, 1 cost, Thorny Caterpillar. But the effect is still the same, plus 10 bonus damage per Goo in the enemy deck.
No limit.
No limit, that is true. That is very interesting. Goo teams. Goo teams might be a thing now.
Imagine 1 energy hitting you for 200 damage.
That is true. Very possible. Dang, dude. Oh, man. We're gonna theory craft a Goo team. Let's see if it's viable or not. Alright. Okay, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. The Goo team is for a different video. Okay, let's move on. Plant cards update. Cucumber Slice. What changed here?
Let me check real quick.
Base heal increased.
Base heal from 10 to 20.
Nice.
Cap bonus from 50 decreased to 40.
Okay. So the initial 1 turn has been made base, basically.
Yeah.
So overall, it's a buff. Yep. Okay. Cucumber Slice, pretty good. I mean, Cucumber Slice is going to be a staple for teams that rely on overhealing. Right?
Overheal.
Yeah, overheal teams will definitely want Cucumber Slice. For sure. Because again, Cucumber overheal, I was talking to Hale, he said summons are considered for overhealing.
Whoa.
Summons are considered for overhealing. So then Cucumber Slice.
Cucumber guarantees an overheal.
Yep.
Wow.
Guarantees. Okay. So Cucumber Slice definitely can be a centerpiece for healing teams. Alright, but yeah, we'll see how that plays out later in the season. Maybe someone will cook it, maybe someone won't. But, you know, as always, we'll see once the season comes in. Right, Confusion. Confused Eyes has been changed. It's not an attack card anymore. It's a heal card. Target any ally, deal damage equal to heal stat to the closest enemy. Shuffle 1 confused into the enemy draw pile. Alright, so the heal stat refers to this heal stat over here. So it's still wait, it used to be 65 damage, right?
60. Attack.
60 damage. So now it's a 70 value card, 70 point value card. It's 35 heal, 35 damage. So overall, it's a buff, right? Question mark? I guess? Because no one used it for the attack damage, right? People only use it for the confused.
Yeah, it's more aligning that plan is like a healing class.
Yeah.
Damage.
You know, one more card for overhealing, I guess. But the thing about Confused Eyes is it's competing with this card, Pappy. Pappy has been buffed from 50 heal. It's now 60. So, would you rather have the 70 value card or the 60 value heal? I guess it depends on what you need. Do you want a confuse card on your enemy draw pile, or do you want the leaves to sustain your team with? So, options have been given to players. Super nice, super nice. Alright, Sirius has gotten the risky treatment as well. Wait. Did it? It used to be plus 20, now it's plus 30 damage. Yeah. So, initial on Sirius is now more value for the 2 sleep that you apply to yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a nice change. Yeah, 100 damage on Sears. Thank you for confirming, Lawrence. Okay, I think that's it for this slide, right? Let's move on.
Yep.
Right. Next card, Zigzag. What happened here? Oh, the heal is now always there. You always heal when you zigzag.
Yeah, no longer conditional, and from 20 now become 15.
Okay, because it's HP steal. Oh no, it's just heal. It's not steal. It's just a heal. On targets without fragile, apply 3 fragile. Nice. Okay, so yeah, it's zigzag. Okay. Leafy has been toned down from 25. It's back down to 20. But I think it was deserved because of all the changes to Leafy over healing, and all the other stuff like the bamboo shoot, giving giving leaf stacks to every spear user, right? So, and also Leafy was doing so well. Have you guys watched Mino use his Leafy team, dude? Oh, that team's super scary. It needed to be toned down. It was too good. It was really good. Alright, okay, so that's it for Leafy. It's still very viable. Losing 5 damage is not gonna matter, I think. It doesn't matter. Obviously, it's lower.
Minus 15 damage.
Yeah, minus 15. But when you're doing 150 damage anyway, right? And with the buff to fragile, to vulnerable, and all those other stuff, the 15 damage you lose is probably not gonna matter too much, right?
I hope so.
Copium.
Yeah.
Copium.
We'll see.
Alright, let's move on. Alright, Rosa, buff from 25 to 30 damage. Yay.
Oh, it's from 20 to 30.
Oh, from 20 to 30 still.
It's 50% buff.
You make it sound like it's better than Rosa's still terrible. Rosa's still terrible. It's a little less terrible than what it was. I'll give it that. It's a little less terrible, but it's still pretty bad.
It's playable as a non-initial card.
Yeah, I guess so. Not really.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. All right, Lotus is now 70 shield, up from 50. Lotus is not a dead card anymore if you use it in your deck. If you use it in your team, not a dead card anymore. Against everything else that is not Jinx. So yeah, Lotus pretty good now. Lotus pretty good.
It is.
Next is the turnip. All right, so we saw the turnip effect before. 50% of the total of this is the damage that it does. So turnip rocket is similar to jar barrage or snake jar, to the snake jar effect. So you put it on an ally, they gain the turnip rocket buff, and then it does, well, at base value 25 damage to a random enemy at the end of every turn. Again, turnip rocket triggers at the end of every turn. So your turn, your opponent's turn, your turn, your opponent's turn. So this is basically 100 damage across 4 turns, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. 1 energy, 150 value.
Sounds too much damage. Maybe it will be nerfed to like when your turn ends or your opponent's turn ends.
And people were initially thought turn was still going to be attacked, so people thought it would work with Glorious Main. It doesn't, but it does work with Soul Eater. Because Soul Eater buffs both sides, not just one, right? It buffs both of these numbers. So maybe Soul Eater turnip might be a thing in Mystic. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Is that stackable if they would use? Yeah. It's the same thing. It's kind of like Snake Jar. It's the same thing as Snake Jar. So if you put 3 turnips on in one turn, that's 75 damage at the end of every turn for 4 turns. You know, that sounds really broken now that I'm saying it out loud. 75 damage for 4 turns. If you have 3 turnips active. Doesn't that sound crazy?
That sounds a lot of damage.
That sounds...
Yeah. Oh,
that sounds
a lot.
Okay, okay. Thank you for pointing it out, Lawrence. We'll see how that goes. All right, write it down. We'll cook. All right. Triple turnip team. Question mark? All right, it's written down. We'll see how that one goes. All right. Next card, Carrot, +1 energy fragment always. Okay, that's still the same, but whenever healed by 5 HP by an ally, Carrot gets +5 attack up to a maximum of 90. So this has been asked. If you get healed by Healing Force, that counts. If you get healed by Gaia, assuming Gaia can go over 5 HP, that is, you have to really buff up the HP to get the 5 HP thing. But that will count too. I don't know if Leech will count. I'm not sure if that counts. But healing from Mushroom counts. Healing from Mushroom counts for Carrot bonus damage.
Then I guess if that way stealing the steal HP cards works, no?
That I don't know.
By that logic.
We have to test that one out. Hale didn't give me an extensive list of what works and what doesn't work. But it has to be from an ally. So we'll see how that one goes. Wait. The Axie itself is considered an ally by... so if the Axie with the Carrot Tail heals himself, that counts too. So, but tool cards don't count because tools are not allies. Alright, so Pure Water doesn't count. I wonder if what's that? The Mandarin? I don't know if Mandarin counts.
If Pure Water doesn't, then I guess it's not because
No, because Pure Water is not owned by the Axie. Isn't Mandarin owned by Enna?
So. It's white color also.
Oh, it doesn't? I see. Okay. So, stuff to test when the patch goes live. We gotta go to esports mode and try it out. We'll see how that goes. Alright, Yam is the next card. Let's go talk about this. Yam used to be 15 damage, right? Or was it always 20?
Always 20, just that it used to be only 2 stacks,
poison?
now 3.
Okay. You know, that 1 poison stack actually matters a lot. It puts it in line with Small Frill. So, it's now 60 damage, assuming 3 Axies get hit, and 3 poison, as opposed to using Small Frill, which heals you for 30 and applies 3 poison to all. So, Yam is actually pretty interesting. It might be more viable now. Yeah, Yam... I still wouldn't use Yam on a backliner though. Yam is a frontliner, midliner card. Because if you have Yam on a backliner and it's a one-on-one, it's kind of a horrible card to use.
Alright.
But yeah. Alright. Anyway, let's move on to reptile cards. Oh boy. Topaz has been... Was it 20? Was it 20 bonus? 20 base before?
It was 30 base damage. No, 15.
30 base damage. Now down to 15, but the damage scaling is still the same, right?
Yeah.
No one cared about the base damage anyway, right? It was all about the bonus, right? It's still gonna do a lot of damage, but with the nerf to Innocent Lamb, it's going to be yeah, it's 1 turn slower for sure. Because if you draw Innocent Lamb turn 1, you get your Nemo cycle on round 2, right? You don't get to Nemo cycle on round 1. Stack up all that shield and use Square Teeth for 100 damage on round 1. Don't ask me how I know that. Alright. I've been traumatized enough. Don't make me relive those moments, okay guys? Okay. Anyway, okay, let's move on. Toothless Bite. Target any closest or furthest enemy, apply 3 death mark. Okay, so what was changed here? The base damage? Or the death mark?
You used to be only 2 turns death mark, now 3.
Okay, so death mark has been buffed for Toothless Bite.
Yes.
Topaz is not dead, Mr. Biko. It's definitely weaker, but I don't think it's dead. It's still going to be... It's just put in line with everything else. If that means dead, you know, being in line with everything else means dead to you, then maybe it is. Yeah, it's still pretty good. Still very consistent because, again, Topaz still banishes 1/3 of their deck. No other team does that. So your second cycle is still pretty good. If you get to the second cycle, it's going to be the same as before. It's just that it's slower on the first cycle. That's the only thing that Topaz is missing out on or Topaz is. But again, if you're going after the most OP broken thing, then Topaz isn't that anymore. Well, Mr. Copy declared it dead, so it probably is. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. Pagona. Damage still the same, taunt still the same, but it now gives you +2 spike, which is nice, I guess.
Pagona, oh, it used to be +1 spike, now +2 spike.
Yeah. That +1 is it's something. It's something. It's not the strongest buff, but it's not the worst buff. I mean, you can say it's +100% spike, right? You can make it to sound super amazing, but it's just +1 spike. But yeah, it's something, I guess. Who do we tank? I don't know, man. Anyway, Swirl. What changed for Swirl? Oh, heal HP equal to shield stat. Oh, it's one of those dual cards now. It's a heal and a shield.
Yes, it used to be only 60 heal.
Okay.
35 shield.
So it's 70 value now. It's basically the confused eyes on an ear slot.
Yep.
It's the exact same thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing. Oh, wait, this is heal? This is shield.
This is heal. No, shield.
Yeah, this is shield. Oh, okay. So it's going with the theme. Like plants are healers, and reptiles are shielders or tanky boys. Alright. So yeah. Is it enough to be used? I don't know. Maybe? Question mark? I don't know. Someone might cook something up for Swirl, but I don't see it becoming super meta. I hope I'm wrong. I'm always happy to be wrong about, you know, meta predictions. But anyway, let's move on. All right, you good with this slide?
Yep.
All right, let's move on. Next slide, Sidebarb. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right.
Poison and joy rejoice.
Yes, Mr. Sir. Target any enemy. Apply 4 poison. Consume 1 spike to deal pure damage. And apply 5 poison. Oh boy. Sidebarb. No. The reason I'm so excited about this is Sidebarb is now a finisher for Blood Moon.
Exactly.
Because before, if your opponent is a sustain team as a poison player, and your poison has infinite silence whisper buff, it's despair. You have to rely on your glare to kill it, or you have to rely on venom burst to kill it. But now you can just kill it with sidebar. This is super good, guys. You have no idea how good this is now. This is, sustained teams aren't like super favored against poison now with their infinite silence whispers. This is such a good change. I love this change so much.
Yeah, so the change, it used to be apply 4 bonus poison only.
It used to be, it's now 5. So plus 1 poison on the consume 1 spike thing.
Yeah, and again make it pure.
Yeah, this is so good, dude. I love this change so much. This is super good. I wish I had more sidebar backsies, TBH, but it is what it is. Anyway, let's move on. Onko.
Okay.
I actually already did my shopping. I'll show you guys later. But yeah, let's finish the video first. All right, Onko is now a shield card. It's not an attack card anymore. But target any ally, deal damage equal to shield stat to the closest enemy. Add 1 goo to the enemy discard pile. All right. So the shield stat here does not mean the shield on the current or on the axis that it get casted on. It refers to this. I had to ask Hale because I was thinking, wait, is Onko now an offensive card for sustained teams? And the answer is no, it's not. It's a hybrid card. So 70 value card, attack and shield, and put 1 goo. So yeah. Mr. Copy, yeah, it used to be 8, now it's 9 with the bonus. Yeah, this Onko, it's only for goo teams, right? I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this Onko change. Well, we'll have to see how it plays out, because right now it doesn't fit any of the current archetypes, right?
Yeah, I guess they just want to make this goo archetype works because technically, if you playing curse com team, you want to stay alive as long as possible.
That is
especially
true.
With goo, right? The curse doesn't really go away until you play it. So you want to stay alive as long as possible, and that's why they just make it hybrid.
Yeah.
For everything.
I get it now. It's kind of like, because you know how Jinx damages as it puts curses on the opponent's deck, right? This is the goo version of that. It shields itself and attacks the target at the same time. Because goo by itself doesn't do damage. You have to Thorny Caterpillar for the goo to do damage to the enemy, right?
Yeah.
So this is how Onko keeps up tempo. Damage tempo. So that's how it is. Interesting. Okay, we're learning. Okay, but yeah, let's move on. It's 6:30. We only have 30 minutes left. We're just halfway, so oh boy. Anyway, okay, let's move on. Maybe we should slot in 3 hours for this for season 6. What do you think? 2 hours is not enough, dude. 2 hours is not enough. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move it. Speed it up. Price spikes. What changed here? Base damage increase.
Yes, base damage from 20 to 25.
Okay, so plus 15 damage to Tri Spikes. Pretty good. Alright, Iguana. This is the 3rd Grievous Wound card. So, it lost 5 damage. But it's target any enemy, like, Dual Blade and Scarab. And it does 4 doubt and 1 Grievous Wound. So, there are now 3 cards that deal Grievous Wound. They're all target any. They're all 55 damage.
And these 3 cards are all on different body parts, so you can have it on one axis.
I mean, you can... Question mark? But I don't know if that's a good idea. But anyway, that is true. That is very true. Or, if you're playing Poison, you don't want to use Scarab, right? So you use Iguana instead. Because you want that back slot for Green Thorns. Right?
Yeah.
Or if you're a chubby... Or if you're a Beast player, you want your horn to be something else. For example, a little branch or something. I don't know. Or I don't know what beast teams would want on a horn. Maybe an imp. So you can use Iguana or Scarab, sacrifice your back or your tail slot. So there are options now. Lots of options.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah.
Imagine a dominant predator XC with all these 3 body
Oh
parts.
boy, actually, oh no, oh wow, you're absolutely correct. I didn't think about dominant predator, dude. Oh boy. A beast with scarab, iguana, and dual blade, grievous wounding, everything. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yo boy. All right, Nietzsche, you're here. Welcome to the stream. You have a target now for your bleed team. Dominant predator.
Advice,
not financial advice. Scarab, dual blade, iguana on a beast body. Go Nietzsche. Go find it. Does it exist? Probably not. But anyway, let's move on. Tiny Dino. It now ramps up 20 per turn instead of plus 10. It fully powers up after 3 turns of retain. Right? It used to be 15, right? It used to be 15.
Yeah, it just ramp up faster, but the total damage overall is the same.
Yeah. But
and now it's lower than Carrot.
That is true. You make a good point. But still, if you draw Tiny Dino round 2, you can use it round 5 and draw it again on the second cycle. You don't have to draw Tiny Dino literally on round 1 to get full value from it anymore.
Yeah, that's, I guess, making things faster a bit.
Yeah.
It is good.
It doesn't suck to draw Tiny Dino in round 2 or 3. If you draw it round 4 or 5, it's still terrible. But at least the window is wider now to get value from Tiny Dino on cycle 1, right? So yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. It's pretty good. I like this. Yeah, that's also a very good point, Robocop. You're not limited to triple dual blade dominant predator teams anymore. If you want to play bleed on rare era, you have options now. You can scarab or iguana. You know? So those are
all 3.
Yeah, dominant predator team. That is very possible. I mean, triple poison touch team is a thing in rare. So why not triple dominant predator, right?
Yes.
All right.
I don't know. That's crazy damage.
It is. I am already dreading it, actually. Why? Oh, that's gonna be a fun match to play. Anyway, let's move on. Alright, so we're done with all the class card updates. We are now on the runes. We have 9 slides. Bubble shooter. So this is what you were talking about earlier. Yeah. So
okay, we pause at the runes.
So bubble shooter is the puffy rune. Until round 4, you get +1 bubble. Alright. Multi-hit and AoE attacks deal 200% bonus damage from bubble. So, if you have a bubble bomb and you use... If you have a bubble bomb, you use a multi-hit. Wait, this is only bubble, not bubble bomb. So, you deal 1.5% HP damage per multi-hit and AoE. Right? That's per 1 stack of bubble. If you have 4 bubbles, how many is that? So you get 8%? Hold on, what? Oh no, only 6%. You deal 6% HP damage. Yeah. It's 200%, right? So 200% of 0.5 is 1.5, and multiply that by and you have that. If you have 4 stacks, that's a total of 6%, right? Right? Am I doing math right? It is, right? So multi-hit, one multi-hit. The first one deals 6% HP damage on top of the card damage itself. Isn't that crazy? Specifically using with Puff. Because Puff already does 65. Oh boy, Puffy. Guys, Puffy's hyper buffed. Holy.
That's why do your daily starting now, guys.
Aqua aggro with Puffy. Yeah. That's very true, Robo. It gets another 100%. Plus 100% from Puff. Oh boy, Puffy hyper buff. On round 5, you're guaranteed to have max 4 bubbles, right? From this without anything else giving her bubbles, right? Dang. All right, guys. If you want to play Aqua Aggro, definitely max out your Puffy. Get the Bubble Shooter boon. Oh boy. Oh, that is definitely something to worry about.
I haven't do the math, but yeah, it's a lot of damage.
I don't know about that, Archer. We have to do the math on that one. I don't know if it's 500 damage, but it's definitely something. Definitely something. Alright, Protector. It takes minus 15 damage if this actually is in the frontmost position. And Hale did say that this 15% damage reduction is everything. So I assume that includes HP loss. No, it's damage. It's not this loss.
Yeah, HP loss and damage is different.
So it takes minus 15 damage from everything, all sources of damage, not HP loss, just damage.
Yep. Super old pangolin scale for free.
Yeah, it's basically the old pangolin scale, but only on plants, and without the shield restriction too. All right, Nut Hunter has been nerfed. It now applies only on the carrier's nut cards, not on all nut cards. It's still the same, except for this one teensy tiny change that actually matters a lot.
Yeah, now you cannot run it with Glorious Main team. Your nut will not scale like crazy.
Yeah. So, Glorious Main has been toned down. I mean, the Glorious Main Nut Hunter combo has been toned down. But I think if you still want to have Nut Hunter, right? To make your nuts cycle faster, right? To ramp faster, I mean. Right? This is the only way to do that consistently, I mean. Because you can use the Zeal Eyes, but that's only one time. This is potential 4 times. So, Glorious Main Nut teams definitely have some changes to do on their teams for sure.
Regarding who's the carry and who's the support,
Yeah. Alright, okay, let's move on. We have 20 minutes left. Let's try to speed it up. Alright, Arcane Protection. Take minus 5% damage from all sources. Minus 5% per buff or secret. Wait, per secret? Or secret? Interesting. So it's not just buff cards now. It also takes into account secrets. So it's easier to activate Arcane Protection now. Right?
Yeah.
Easier to activate. Interesting. Okay, so Arcane getting an interesting change. Blunt Teeth has been buffed. It's now minus 10% damage instead of minus 20. So
no, it used to be 15.
Oh, it used to be 15, but even then, no one used it at 15. Maybe at 10%, it's usable now, right? It's basically putting a Bean's Blessing or because people are okay with using Bean's Blessing or a White Sage, right? And that's basically this, but on all the cards. All damage cards, I mean. Right?
Yeah, and now that Cottontail also require more fragment, so a lot more emphasis on stuff that generates energy fragment more than the usual value.
Also, guys, this is attacks specifically. You can't activate Blunt Teeth with shield or secret cards, right? It has to be an attack card to gain the energy fragment. So that's an important distinction. Okay. All right. Poison Touch. Whenever hit, apply 1 poison to the attacker. Take 1.5% damage from attacks per poison on the attacker. Cap at 15. So this has been buffed. You now only need 10 poison stacks to gain the maximum benefit from Poison Touch. It used to be 15. Now it's back to 10. I don't know. Because it
sounds OP.
Wasn't it 20% when it was rare? When it was an epic?
Yeah, it was 20% when epic, now toned down to 15.
But in epic you only need 10 poison stacks to get it, right? But now that it's a rare, it's down to 15%. It used to need 15 poison stacks, but now you only need 10. So Poison Touch is still pretty good.
Alright, 50% buff.
Sure. Okay, again, you're making it sound more exciting than it is. But yeah, that's still very true. I have to agree. That is very true. All right, let's move on. Next slide. Divine Ring. Before battle starts, add 1 prayer to the deck. This actually cards gain plus 10%. I think the only change here was this. I mean, the
keyword.
Yeah, keyword was changed. Same as this.
Yeah.
So we'll skip these two. Energy Shard. When the battle starts, gain 1 energy fragment per unique Axie class in your team. So that's the change. Is it a nerf? It is a nerf, right?
No, it's a buff. So it used to be 1 energy fragment per unique Axie class in your team also. But when reaching energy burst, it used to be heal all allied Axie for 40 HP. Now, it heals everyone for 30 and
it
damage 30 to all enemy.
Okay, so it's more value now.
Yes, it's more value. It's, I don't know how many percent, 120 to 180. 50% buff to the value.
Oh boy, here we go again. Anyway, was it always an epic? I never used it.
Yes, it was an epic.
Okay, so it's more in line with what Last Wish sort of does. Sort of.
Yeah. It is almost on par value with Last Wish.
Yeah. At burst 1.
And it definitely gives more value if you keep bursting over.
Yeah. On burst 1, it's almost same value. But if you go burst 2 or 3, this outvalues Last Wish.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah. Energy Shard, much needed change. Right, Energy Guru. When your turn starts, gain 1 energy fragment. It's not every other turn now. It's always every turn. So, yeah, Energy Guru needed some love for sure because it was pretty mediocre in season 4. I don't think I saw a few people using Energy Guru, but when I started getting like top 500, 700, 500, I didn't see it anymore.
Yeah,
Energy Guru is 100%.
No, it's 200%, sir.
How is it 200?
Used to be alternating, right?
It's one fragment every other turn.
Yeah, it used to be alternating.
Okay.
Like either A, B, now A, B at one turn, then another A, B on another turn.
Okay,
so
okay.
It's 200% buff. So.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh wow, 200%. Oh, Sky Mavis, how can you do this? 200% buff.
Balance.
Oh boy. Anyway, yeah. What was the damage before? What was the damage for Energy Guru before?
It was 7 also.
It was still 7. Okay. All right. Because Robo said the damage increase. Don't forget. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Fate Maker. Enemy cards discarded by your team lose 15% stats and deal damage to their owner equal to 3x that amount. Allied cards discarded by your team gain plus 15% stats. So what changed here?
It used to be 10%. Now 10% on stat loss and stat gain.
Okay. So, wow. 50% buff? Oh my god. Sky Mavis keeps doing it, man.
50%.
50% buff? Not again.
They like huge numbers. Anything less than 50 is non-existent.
Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Alright, Glorious Mane. Attacks no longer grant energy fragments. When this Axie attacks, its attack cards gain 8% base attack per energy spent. So this is what it should have been in Season 4. Now it's what it is in Season 5. Let's see if Glorious Mane teams will still exist. Because Nut Hunter is gone. I mean, Nut Hunter doesn't buff Nut cards for the main user anymore. So, will Glorious Mane still be strong?
I think they can resort back to the Rage archetype now.
Oh, that's true. Rage Mane's still pretty good, yeah. So, no more triple Nut. It goes to the Rage Mane teams now. Especially since Cottontail is not reliable anymore for main users, right? It's really hard for them because they need 8 fragments. So that's 8 energy that is not used by the main user. So it's pretty hard for them to reach it, right? Okay, so yeah, maybe you're right. Glorious Mane with Rage is the way to go now. with a fur ball, right? For the extra scaling.
Yeah.
Triple nut can also rage with energy. That is true, Robo. That is still very true. It can still do triple nut. There are ways. You're correct, Robo. Alright, let's move on. Next slide. Venom Master. Before battle starts, add 1 Venom Burst to your deck. Cards apply 2 poison per energy spent to a random enemy. Thank you, Hale.
No, it's not useless anymore.
Thank you.
Other than the Venom Burst, right?
That is true. Venom Master in Season 4 was so bad. So bad. No one used it for the rune effect. People only use it for the Venom Burst. Because if you are using Venom Master, if you are using an attack-based poison axie, you are not sustaining at all. Poison teams are not meant to do damage. They are meant to do poison. So, you know, forcing poison teams to attack is complete opposite of what they want to do. So now that Venom Master adds 2 poison per energy spent, it's now super good. I absolutely love it. 300% pop.
Poison team rejoice.
300% vote. Yeah. All right. I mean, I'm thanking Hill. I don't think it's gonna be OP, but it's definitely more than what it was. It's definitely beyond usable. I am gonna use Venom Master as soon as Epic hits for sure. Thank you for the follow, Berber. What's your question? What about you or thought about Topaz team and with Square T's? It's definitely weaker. But we'll have to see on rare because it's still a rare viable team. Because remember, damage is not the only strength of Topaz teams. Topaz teams are very consistent because they banish 1/3 of their deck at cycle 1, so that in cycle 2 all you have are attack cards. Once you get to the cycle 2, you're still gonna be a very strong team, just attacking a lot with all of those topazes and all those teeth and everything. So it's weaker first 5 turns, but turn around 6 and later it's still pretty good. Lawrence, okay, so I mean you did ask that earlier. I think sleep poison is still better if the meta is aggro heavy. Pure poison is better if it's like a debuff centric meta, if that makes sense. But yeah, sleep doesn't do anything against sustained teams. All right, so that's the thing about these sleep poison teams. But anyway, let's keep going. So adaptive program. Solo, receive plus 15% shield from cards. Whenever this actually receives 90 shield from a card, gain 2 energy fragment. Hold on, what changed for adaptive program?
It used to be 25%, now 15. But the effect trigger used to be 99, lower to 90.
Okay, so lower shield received, but shields that have 70 still trigger it, right?
Yeah. When they do the math, they say, oh, the number still works.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that they have lower shield overall.
Oh yeah, that's fair, I guess. You still ramp up fast, but you gain lower shield in total. Makes it more manageable for aggro teams to deal with adaptive program mech, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey Katsu, good morning. Welcome. Alright, let's move on. Heaven's Echo, solo. After attacking until your turn ends, other allied axes attack deal plus 20% damage. After playing a skill, other allied axes gain 20 shield. What changed here? The damage is up from up to 20 now?
Axis attack?
Was it
no,
50?
It's just text clarity, they say.
Sorry, what changed?
It's just text clarity. It used to be allied axes deal 20% more damage. Now it becomes allied axis attacks deal plus 20% more damage.
Okay. Just clarity. Okay. Okay, let's move on. Malediction. On targets with debuffs, deal plus 20% damage. From attackers with debuffs, take minus 20% damage. I think it's just
It used to be 15, now 20.
Oh, so it's better now. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know if that's enough to make me change out from Moonlight Thief, but it's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting.
It reminds me back to season 1 or season 2 Poison with Malediction.
Maybe with an aggro debuff team, because again, Code Zero, it's so much easier to deal, to put debuffs on now. It's so much easier. Remember, if you have a bleed team, you can put Malediction on front, because you're always gonna put debuffs on everyone, right? So if you have a Malediction on front, it has minus 20% damage. So, and if you have plus 20% damage, your other cards or your cards on that frontliner is going to be stronger too. So, you know, your dual blade, your chubby, and so on. So it's for a different archetype. That is true. I agree with that. Moonlight is better for sustain. That is still true. I don't know if Malediction has enough value now to overtake the sustain from Moonlight. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right, Bloodlust is now hyper buffed. Steal 21 HP per energy spent for single attacks. Multi-hit now steals 7 HP per hit. Oh boy. Boy, oh boy.
40% buff.
40% buff. Oh, okay, not 50. Only 40.
Yes.
Okay, so...
A bit disappointed.
You're disappointed. Okay, all right. Let's move on. We have like 10 slides left and 6 minutes to go. So let's see. All right, let's move on. All right, Last Stand. Once per battle, if this Axie would die, it would gain Immortal for 2 turns, cleanse all debuffs, and gain 30% stats while immortal. So it's been nerfed by 10%. Yeah. So nerfed again to 30% this time. But Last Stand is still pretty good, just because it's immortal.
Yeah, they use it for the buying one more turn.
Yeah. Is it enough? It might be. This time it might be okay now. 20% lost from season 3. I think it's okay. This is a 25% nerf.
Yes. Quite small. It's not affecting anything.
Okay.
It needs to be 50% and above.
True. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, Brutal Claw. On targets with less than 6 bleed, single and AoE attacks double the bleed turns on those targets. Otherwise, create a Bloodstorm. Bloodstorm -1 bleed from the target. Then all enemy Axies lose 15 HP. Alright, so it just clarified that's now HP loss instead of damage. It's still the same, right?
Yeah, it just HP loss instead of damage, so it's affected by doubt instead of vulnerable and stuff.
Okay. Should not remove debuff. We want to keep him sleeping while immortal. Code Zero, if you use a watermelon or a what's that? A herbivore to trigger the kill, once it wakes up, it's still going to be asleep. So there is a way to make it still sleep after it gets immortal status. So that is a very niche interaction. I don't know if they changed it, but it's how it worked in season 3 and 4. Yeah. Okay, Metamorphosis. When your turn starts, +2 cocoon, deal damage equal to 8% of current shield per cocoon to enemy axis. What happened here? What changed to Metamorph?
Check. Just from 7% to 8%.
Oh, so you got 1% buff.
Yes, very, very small.
Very small. That's not even, what, like 15% buff? Ugh. Not worth talking about.
Yes.
Anyway, let's move on. Paralyzing Glare. Debuff cards apply 2 doubt, then deal pure damage equal to 1 plus the total number of debuffs on the target. 2 enemy axes cap at 20 damage. So the nerf here is this number here. It used to be 3. Now it's down to 1. Does it matter? Honestly, I don't think it matters. It matters in the first 3 or 4 rounds when you don't have that many poison stacks all applied to the enemies. But honestly, I don't think this nerf does anything at all. Honestly, personally, I don't think it does anything.
Knowing that the debuff now is a lot, then you can get 20 easily.
Yeah, because you don't really use glare worrying about that tree base damage. You use glare for the doubt and the pure damage that you apply. Losing 2 from the pure damage doesn't matter at all. It makes it weaker the first 3 or 4 rounds, but after those 4 rounds, it's pretty much the same thing. It's still pretty much the same thing. Anyway, let's move on. Collect and Protect finally gets a nerf after what? 4 seasons? 5 seasons, including season 0 and season alpha. It's now down to 45 shield, down from 60.
Is it enough?
I don't know.
I mean, people only use Collect and Protect for the extra draw, which makes your cycle faster.
I mean, they use it for the bump, for the square teeth too. But square teeth only goes up to 50 anyway, right? So they still get full value from Collect and Protect and the square teeth. So yeah. Okay, so Healing Pulse. Plus 20% heal stat. Whenever this actually overheals, that amount is granted a shield to its target and dealt as damage to one random enemy. Now works with summons. Yay! Remember what I said about Cucumber Slice? And Healing Pulse? So if you... Okay, so Cucumber Slice is at most 60 heal. Right? If you heal 3 axes and 3 summons, and they all overheal, 60 times 6. I mean, this is obviously ideal, right? 60 times 6 is 360 damage. That's the best case. Best case. Like, this is a sustain versus sustain kind of thing. Sustain, because sustain don't do damage anyway, right? So this is a sustain versus sustain thing. But against aggro teams, you're not gonna get 3 summons out, and you're not gonna have 3 full health axes by the time your Cucumber Slice is fully powered, right? So Healing Pulse, definitely interesting for sure. It might actually, Lawrence, a healing pulse team with summons might actually become a thing now. Might actually become a thing. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Regenerator has been changed. It's no longer conditional. You always get the 10% heal, and you always get the cleanse. There is no more double cleanse. All right, but Regenerator is worse against, debuff teams like Poison, but it's better as a really tanky boy. So put Regenerator up front, keep healing it, keep getting value from it. Because if you have a 500 HP reptile on front, you keep healing 50 HP every turn. Dude, that's crazy.
Regenerator was strong against poison because of the 2 cleanses.
Yeah.
Now
but
it's only 1.
Yeah, Regenerator is not anti-poison anymore. It's a tank card now. It's a tank rune. It's a tank rune now. Because if you have Regenerator and it gets vulnerable or it gets fragile, it removes that. Your fragile or vulnerable now is no longer in effect. For free. Every turn. Right? So that's what it is now. It's no longer an anti-poison. It's a tank rune. That's basically it. I'm okay with that change. Because now people have to actually make an effort to tech against poison if they want to counter poison. You don't have one rune that counters poison instantly anymore. So I am okay with that. Anyway, let's move on. Celestial Might. This Axis card gained plus 35% when played. They banish after being played twice. What was it? This 25 before?
Yeah, it was 25.
So now it's 35. That's... Hold on. Celestial Might Turnip. Celestial Might
Sure.
Turnip.
Yeah.
Guys, Celestial Might Turnip. Yeah, yay or nay? Yay or nay?
But it's gone after 2 uses.
Yeah, put
It's
it on the
gone.
front. It's not gonna use it twice anyway. Put it on the frontliner, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Celestial Might on front, Soul Eater on the mid, and I don't know, Regenerator on the back. Something, I don't know. Right?
Just pure tanking.
Right?
Mm.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Lawrence is cooking. There you go. Right? Anyway, let's move on. Holy Prayer. When your turn starts, purify 1. Allied Axis cards gain 10% stats. Plus 5% stats while there are curse cards in your deck. So, this was a funny thing because Hale mentioned it in the town hall yesterday. Because it felt like Holy Prayer was being countered by curse cards, even though it was supposed to be the counter to curse cards. So now you always have the plus 10% stats, and if you have curse cards in your deck, you gain extra benefit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Holy Prayer has been changed. It's now always plus 10% stats. And you purify, and if you get cursed somehow, you gain additional benefit, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, overall I think Holy Prayer is much better now than what it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is true, Code Zero. Banish, it is banished. It's not gone from the game, so you can't tricky it back. Assuming the Celestial Might Axie is still alive. You make a good point, Code Zero. You make a good point. Celestial Might, tricky, and Innocent Lamb Turnip. Innocent Lamb Turnip. Right?
Innocent Lamb Turnip.
Right? Oh, Robo, come on, man. Poison has been despair for a long time. Come on, Robo.
Well, Geos play Poison, no?
Come on, Robo. Poison has been despairing for a while. You can't say that. Anyway, let's move on. Soul Eater has been changed. When your turn starts, all allied axes lose 6% HP. It's no longer 66 HP on the lowest HP axis. It's now everyone. But everyone's cards gain plus 6% stats. Okay, so at the base of 400 HP. 400 HP times 0.06. Everyone
24.
loses 24. That's 24 HP loss on all axes. But if you have leaves, you just need, 6 leaves to counter the Soul Eater effect. So, leafy teams might want Soul Eater, maybe. I don't know. Could be. Or,
Any healing teams
yeah.
could heal.
Or just any healing teams at all. So if you have Healing Force, or if you have I don't know, if you have Leech, that one guy's lost HP is just brought back by whatever rune it has, right?
Mm.
So there you go. Soul Eater a lot more viable now, for sure. Because it doesn't kill one of your axes, it kills everyone. But
Buff everyone.
You can't. No, it's always been buff everyone. It was also buff everyone season 4, yeah. But now you can heal everyone and not feel the effect as prominently as 66 damage or 66 HP gone from one axis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it still stacks, Lawrence. It still stacks. Of course it stacks. Yeah, Soul Eater Ronin is what people have been initially thought of. Celestial Might Turnip and Soul Eater, though. Right? Celestial Might with Soul Eater.
But you need Tricky Eyes.
And Tricky Eyes, yeah. And Innocent Lamb. And maybe a Healing Force on the back. I don't know. Because if you have Healing Force, that's 12 HP already. So that's 50% of Soul Eater's effect already nullified. Or Healing Pulse, sure, that works too. Or pure instinct. There's so many things you can do, guys. Honestly, turnip might actually become a super hard thing to deal with. It might actually become a super hard thing to deal with for sure. It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. Turnip might actually be OP. Triple turnip, quadruple turnip, even. You know, quintuplet even. I don't know, dude. The possibilities are endless for turnip now. It's crazy. It was a meme before. It's going to be a meme because it's so good now. Oh boy. Oh boy. Anyway, let's move on. We're on to charms. It's already 7 p.m. So let's try and speed it up. We have 6 slides left. Right. These charms are now down to 3 PP from 5. So there's just everyone's better now. Everyone's good now. This is so good. Everything's good. Bean's Blessing is now usable on attack cards, so you can purify your deck by attack cards now. You're not limited to just putting it on heals or shields. Viper's Venom is now better. It's now apply 2 poison base and then 1 poison additional. So it used to be 1 here and then 1 here. So now 2 poison base with +1 additional. Bubble Paste is now alter any. Was it just shields and heals before? What was Bubble Paste before? Everything's good except Topaz? Good.
No, Bubble Paste was used to be to other allied axes.
Oh.
So the axis alone doesn't count.
Okay, so Bubble Paste now affects itself. Same with Mask of Frenzy, same with Feather Fan, same with Leafy Pot. They now affect themselves. Energy Drink S. What happened here? Alter any?
From 2 feather becomes 3 feather.
Okay. Nice. Bug Energy Drink. What happened here?
Bug Energy Drink used to be minus 50% attack, gain 50 shield. Now gain 15, but plus 35 per energy spend.
Oh. Alter attack cards too. Interesting. So if you use a sandal, this gives 80 shield. Oh, but you lose 50% attack, so you lose the sandal bonus damage. So sandal becomes just 130 attack. Interesting. But anyway, let's move on. Gecko Mask, +2 spike. If this actually doesn't have taunt, apply taunt. So this got the Pagona treatment. Now +2 up from 1. Dude, 100%.
So good.
Oh, we're back there. All right. Anyway, Bombshell now 25 up from 20, right?
Yes, 35 from 20.
Okay. Hidden Razor, apply 2 bleed on targets with greater than 4 bleed. Apply 1 grievous wound. I don't think anything changed for Hidden Razor.
It's always applied to bleed now.
Oh.
It used to be if the target is less than 4 bleed, then you apply to bleed.
Okay. So it's it's just a straight up buff. Jellyfish now has minus 15% stat.
It's a nerf.
Yeah, nerf.
It used to be 10%.
Okay. Lazy Snail also minus 15.
Used to be no minus stats.
Oh, okay. So it now has minus 15. Mantis Dagger now has an order.
Yes.
So it used to be discard random. Now it discards from the hand first and then from the draw pile. So if you put Mantis Dagger on a Garish Worm, you now discard 2 cards from hand. Yay! Oh, isn't that too good?
Yeah, I guess it's good, but it's not OP, just more consistent, I guess.
No, that's so good. If I'm holding a Chubby and a Cottontail, both cards are gone now. That's so good. Oh boy, Hand Disruption is so much better now on Garish. Anyway, let's move on. Storm Shuriken deals 40% damage to another random target. What was this before?
Was 40, now 45.
Wait, what?
Huh?
It says 40% now.
In Google Sheet says now deal 45.
Oh, okay. So this might have been might have been a typo on the display or on the Google Sheets. Alright, and Google. I don't know. Google Slides. There you go. Okay, anyway, let's move on. Gloves of Infection now has minus 10% stat. Like,
Yes.
that doesn't matter at all. No one cares about the minus 10% stat. The 4 poison it applies is so worth it. I'm okay with that 10% stat. Energy reptile. What changed here?
Used to be lost 15 HP, now only 12.
Okay, so still plus 6 blood spike?
Yes.
Okay. Alright. And yeah, I think that's the last slide. We made it through to the end, guys.
Speedrun the final 5 slides.
Wait, lazy snail can be used on shields. It used to be only attacks.
That's aligning to all those goo putting cards like confused.
And jellyfish also gets that thing. Jellyfish used to be attacks only. Now it can be used on heals and shields.
Yeah.
So I don't think Jinx has any shield cards. Yeah, Jinx doesn't use shields anyway. Oh, you can lazy snail Neo. That's true. That's true. You can paralyzing jellyfish Neo now. Wait, no, you can't. No, you can't.
It's different
class. Wrong class. But still, Mantis Dagger. Lazy Snail. Lazy Snail and Neo. That is very true. So, can you put... You can put paralyzing jellyfish on Nemo Tails. Or... No, that...
Yeah, that's... I mean, so,
I mean, you can, but not really. I mean, if you're gonna get minus 15% stat, might as well put it on something that doesn't get affected by it much, right? Oh, Nemo Tail doesn't have stats. Okay, so it doesn't.
Nemo Tail no stats.
Okay, so it can't. Okay. Alright, but yeah. There you go, guys. Season 5 updates. Mr. Leunammi, what do you think? What is going to be the top team? What's based on what we saw here?
We cooking already? Okay.
Yeah, we're cooking for like 10 minutes.
Definitely everything seems to slow down except poison. Poison seems to speed up. But slowing down in general will benefit those.
Yeah, lots of mid-range teams. Yeah, mid-range teams definitely gonna get buffed.
So for me, my choices, okay, non-financial advice, but this is what I will go. For rare, I would go for Dominant Predator Bleed comp. Just because how much value they give, especially with the heals and not much removals early game. Then epic, I think heal may be again dominating, but I can see the comeback of Tri-Owls.
Sorry, yeah?
Tri-Owls.
Oh yeah, for sure. Tri-Owls, yeah, people have been buying up Tri-Owls actually. I've seen a few people mention that.
Because Tri-Owls was losing due to AoE and just Topaz in general because they are too fast, right? But now that they are slowed down a bit, so they may have time to ramp up again. Yeah, and of course AoE for big because of all the buffs to bubbles and the flexibility of the runes. Energy Guru, they have Energy Guru for energy fragment.
Yeah, that's true.
So AoE, either one of these three. Then for Mystic Era, I really think Poison is a definite choice.
Yeah. Yep, it is for me. I mean, it's my only choice. I don't have Poison Axis.
Other than that, what I see can be viable or making a comeback is actually Bubble Sponge team.
Yeah. I can see it too.
Everything becomes slower and they can take their time to ramp up damage and pursue. Even though now maybe slower, just that it's more consistent now. You can keep shielding with Sponge every turn instead of one every 2 turn, because you need to set up for 4 stacks. Yeah. Other than that, other comps like Jinx, they are not completely Topaz. They are not completely gone from the meta. Just that I think they will be outpaced by these other comps that I mentioned just now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, not financial advice, guys. This is just my prediction.
Yeah. No, Archer. We literally just said it. Not financial. Crazy guy. Anyway, all right. So I agree with what you said. I think in rare it's still going to be aggro, because poison in you have triple poison touch is a thing, but triple dominant predator might become a thing now. So bleed is like the aggressive poison ish. So it's still a debuff based team, but it's going to be better now because of the doubt that comes in with the grievous wounds. So I think definitely a poison, a bleed team with grievous wounds and doubt is something to look out for. Maybe something you should start theory crafting now. Again, not financial advice. I think Topaz is still going to be very strong first in rare era, only because guys, remember, 1/3 of the deck is gone by cycle 2. No other team composition can boast that. 1/3 of your deck is gone, so that by the second cycle you only have to do you only have damage cards. Guys, this is not financial advice. Stop it. And if everyone is already thinking that poison is going to be meta or bleed is going to be meta, so maybe we'll see a variant of aquas with sea slug. Or maybe some teams with mint or pincer, mint and pincer at the same time. Because, white sage on those 2 cards, super good value, right?
But can they keep up though?
That is a good question. We don't know. We will find out once the season starts. But yeah, definitely some stuff to check out. Personally, I want to know if Goo teams are going to make it. Personally, I want to know, Goo teams, are they going to make it? Because, it's a new archetype. It's a new thing. Something new to test out. Something new to try out. I don't know if I'm going to be the one to make it, but, someone definitely will try, for sure. Because that's the kind of community we have. But, yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me, guys. I've been talking for 2.5 hours now. My throat is starting to to complain that I've been talking too much. So, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much in chat for participating. This video will be on YouTube. I will post it. I will edit it, cut out some parts and add some subtitles. So do watch out for that, guys. And until then, guys, don't forget, tomorrow will be Axie Mastermind. I will be playing a board game with you guys. The winners will get AXS, and if you win, I'll be doing pumps. As a punishment, because I'm the mastermind. I'm the evil mastermind. So if you guys win, I'll be doing pumps, and you will be getting AXS. So yeah, double rewards. So do watch out for that. It's tomorrow at 5 p.m. So guys, do catch me there. And I think that's gonna be it for this stream, guys. If you haven't followed me yet on Twitter, please do so. So here are my socials, because I need more followers on Twitter and on YouTube. So there you go. Thank you so much for being here, guys. If you're watching this on Twitch, stay for the raid. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now. Bye, guys. Okay, that's enough. All right, let's go look for someone to raid. Let's go look for someone to raid. Oh, this is gonna look scuffed. Yep, I knew it. It's this part is cut off. All right, who are we raiding, guys? Any Axie streamers right now? Sir Manix is streaming. You guys want to raid him?
Bali Major.
Where? Or you want to raid someone else? Who's Bali Major? Why, Robo? You've been here an hour. What do you mean? As soon as you get here, you've been here an hour. All right. All right. Where? Who do we raid? Who do we raid? You want to raid Aperon? What's Aperon doing? Because our options are Aperon, or you guys wanna win some tokens from Aperon? Yeah, you guys can win some tokens from Aperon. Yeah, so Aperon is another game that I'm interested in. Why ignore Full of Hearts? Who? Oh, we'll do that. Let's do that on Monday. Full of Hearts. Do that on Monday or tomorrow before the thing. I don't wanna. I mean, yeah, let's go raid Aperon. Right, so no, tomorrow we'll be doing the Axie Mastermind. All right, let's do it after Axie Mastermind. How about that? All right, let's do it after Axie Mastermind. Because after Axie Mastermind, it's gonna be like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and then we're going back to our regular streaming schedule. Okay, so let's go do that. All right, let's go raid Aperon now. Thank you guys so much for being here again. You guys are awesome. Thank you for staying the full 2.5 hours. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow for Axie Mastermind. Thank you guys so much. And until then, guys. Oh, it's so dark here. Alright. Wow, it's like really dark. Alright, my camera isn't even working anymore. Alright, so thank you guys. Let's go raid Aperon. Here's a raid command. If you are a subscriber, you can use this. All right, let's go show Aperon some love. Lawrence, if you want to talk more about the poison team idea, go to my Discord. Join me there. We can talk there. Or even better, you can join the Guildless Gamers Discord. I'm very active in that Discord. You can talk there too. All right. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Let's go raid, and you can still reach the. Yeah. So you guys can still reach this. All right. Thank you guys, and.